On a quiet summer night in 1987, a freight train sped through Alexander, Arkansas, only to encounter a horrific sight. Two teenage boys, 16-year-old Don Henry and 17-year-old Kevin Ives, lying motionless on the tracks. Despite the train engineer's attempts to stop and the blaring horn, the train could not stop in time, and the boys did not move as it struck them. What seemed like a tragic accident soon turned into a decades-long mystery shrouded in controversy and conspiracy theories. The deaths were initially ruled an accident, attributed to the boys being in a deep sleep on the tracks while incapacitated due to high levels of THC. An autopsy conducted by Arkansas State Medical Examiner Fahmy Malak ruled the deaths as an accident caused by marijuana intoxication. Malak claimed that the boys had smoked the equivalent of 20 marijuana joints, causing them to pass out on the tracks. However, the parents of Don and Kevin were unconvinced and refused to accept that their sons had been incapacitated by drugs. They conducted their own investigation, revealing a different story. A second autopsy, conducted by Dr. Joseph Burton from Georgia, found lower levels of THC in the boys' systems, equivalent to only 1 or 2 joints. Additionally, Don Henry's shirt showed signs of a stab wound, and Kevin Ives' skull appeared to have been crushed before the train struck them. This led the grand jury to rule the deaths as probable homicides. When interviewing the train's crew, they reported seeing the boys' bodies partially covered by a green tarp, but police at the scene later denied its existence, and the tarp was never recovered. Furthermore, a .22 caliber rifle and flashlight were found nearby, suggesting the boys might have been spotlight hunting, a technique where hunters use a bright light to locate animals at night. Despite these findings, the investigation faced numerous challenges. Saline County Sheriff James Steed refused to investigate the case. In February 1988, Dan Harmon, the parents' attorney and Saline County Prosecutor, finally reached an agreement with Steed that he would begin an investigation if the parents stopped criticizing him. However, the investigation led nowhere, and several key witnesses died under mysterious circumstances. These deaths included Keith Mckaskle, an informant who took aerial photographs of the crime scene, Greg Collins, a witness who was shot dead, and Daniel Bearden, who disappeared without a trace. The most prominent theory surrounding the deaths involves drug trafficking. It is believed that the boys may have accidentally witnessed a drug drop from an airplane, linked to operations involving Barry Seal, a pilot and drug smuggler for the Medellín Cartel, who made deliveries at the somewhat nearby Mena Airport. Some conspiracy theories even suggest that political figures, including then-Governor Bill Clinton, were aware of or involved in covering up the crime. The FBI took over the case in 1994, but reached no conclusion, and the investigation was dropped in 1995, allegedly due to political pressure. The Arkansas State Police investigation also yielded no results. The case gained renewed attention in 1996 when Linda Ives released a documentary called Obstruction of Justice, The Mena Connection. The film accused law enforcement and local authorities of involvement in the murders, targeting police officers and even Dan Harmon, who had represented the victims' families. Harmon was later arrested in 1997 for racketeering and drug-related charges and was sentenced to 11 years in prison. 31 years later, in 2018, a new witness came forward. Former professional wrestler Billy Jack Haynes claimed that he had been involved in drug trafficking during the 1980s and was present when Don and Kevin were murdered. Haynes alleged that he had been hired by a politician drug dealer to provide security during a drug drop when the boys stumbled upon the operation. According to Haynes, the boys were killed by individuals connected to the same criminal politician. However, it is unclear if this information led to any further developments. Despite numerous investigations, witness deaths, and claims of political corruption, the deaths of Don Henry and Kevin Ives remain officially unsolved.